Hey guys, welcome back. We are now on part 6 of our Disco Enterprise refit build, so let's get to work. This week I want to focus on lighting the nacelles. I have a piece of plastic super and hot glued into place behind our recess there. And I will be using this neat little piece from SDM Productions as the cap. As you can see, I already have copper painted on the raised sections. I think that looks really cool. And that thing will just slide into place right about there. I'll fix that with canopy glue when all is said and done, and that'll look really cool. For our individual LEDs, we'll be using these 240 ohm resistors, which should be able to take the load off our 12 volt power supply. I got about 100 of these guys on eBay not too long ago. Now it's time to prep our LEDs for installation. I always cut down the lead side when installing resistors. Remember, the lead side is always going to be the longer of the two prongs coming off the LED. This is just a personal preference kind of thing. I have all my LEDs cut down, but I also like to cut down my resistors too. Remember, it doesn't matter which side of the resistor you connect to the LED as long as it's in place. With all my resistors and LEDs cut down to shape, it's time to start soldering. Now that the resistors have been soldered to our individual LEDs, I have a little bit more prep work to do on 4 of these. These 4 will be used for our RTS thrusters and flashers. I got a great comment on my Defiant build from Magic Sticksaw, who suggested I drill out the very tips of these and install my fiber optics. So I'm just standing them down, the very tip of these down, as to not have to drill on a curved surface. When drilling out LEDs, be very mindful of the depth of your bit. You don't want to hit the diode. I initially installed these pendant LEDs with a drop of super glue, and I'm going back over the top with some hot glue. With this hot glue base, I'll be able to light block these even better from behind. After the hot glue dried, I went back over these with some tulip paint. I also installed some fiber optic for our RTS thrusters. I'm turning my attention to the bassards. I don't want to get any light leak into our grills from those bassard lights. Here are all the LEDs we're using for those. The amber ones will be constant on. The clear ones are actually breathing red. I built and devised this little tiny box to help mitigate the light leak, and went over this with a Maltov chrome pen. I now have all the wires installed for our nacelle. I'm using a different method of wiring. I want to mitigate the amount of wires I have coming out of the pylon, because that pylon has absolutely no room in it. So I am chaining all of these LEDs together with wire. And I have our beauty lights now installed, and they are tied together vis-a-vis these lights. I have no flashers in this side, so I can tie them all together. This side I will have to be doing differently because I do have a flasher in it. Now along the way, I tested every LED connection I had with my 9-volt Rayovac. Everything worked just fine every step of the way. But then I went to test it with my 12-volt, and the whole thing shorted out. Needless to say, I was dismayed, and there may have been a few colorful metaphors said, but I immediately stopped what I was doing, took a breath, and walked away from this for a day. Very important, if you find yourself frustrated with a project, stop what you're doing, set it down, and give it some time. Apparently I'd got some solder where it shouldn't have been, but once removed, it's now time to start wiring up our other nacelle half. I have our little bulkhead and our breather and constant on, as well as this little guy. This will be used as our flasher, and I'll tie it into our board once everything is said and done. I do have the strip installed up here for our grill lights, so we don't have to worry about that. We will have to worry about our pendant lights though. And the wiring is done. These two wires are for our little flasher back here. These two encompass the rest of this stuff right here, so we will only have 4 wires going through our pylon, which is very nice. As you can see, the thing lights up very well. These pendant lights are way too bright, but that is the camera, not the reality. Our grill looks awesome, as well as our brassards. Maybe you can see that breathing effect I have going on inside those things. Now, I did test, or rather remove some of the mask from up here and along the side, and you can see that very well coming out of those clear parts. We have our beauty lights going on down there, looking very nice. And we have our blue crystal on top. So that is everything for these nacelles. I will be working over the weekend to get these guys together and their counterpart. So that is going to do it for this week. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. I want to thank all of you guys for subbing. My new subs, my old subs, you're all rad. So thanks for watching again, and till next time, you guys take care.